All right, so here's a subject I've been studying the validity of and commenting on since the mid 1990s, since about 1996, 1997 at least. What a lot of people call chemtrails, which I've only found marginal evidence for the existence of. I did find a patent for a spray technology long time ago, back in the 90s, a government patent on it was called laminar airflow spray delivery system from a high-speed airfoil, something to that effect. Found the patent on that, which government owned rights to. So basically, there was patent spray technology for delivery of something from a high-speed airfoil, which would be, you would think, a jet. But a lot of what people call chemtrails, though, all over the place, really that's not what they are. These two were just left by airliners who were this is one of the air corridors, or like highways, if you will, for approach for airliners into DFW. So they pretty much fly right over the Wichita Falls area, and then they'll turn south and go into DFW. So these two guys were just descending. As they were descending, left some short contrails. So not everything you see, a lot of people, they see, anytime they see this and they see the persistence of it, that it seems to hang around or grow, they think that's some kind of a chemtrail. So let me explain a couple of things to you. First of all, if you look at photographs and video from World War II, you will see this phenomenon with the B-17 bombers that are flying over Germany. You'll find them and fighters. You'll see the circular where the fighters are going, where they're dogfighting at high altitude, and the contrails from the B-17 piston-powered bombers that are leaving these miles-long, quad contrails behind them that are going on for miles and miles and miles. So it is not true, if you just look at the historical evidence, it's not true that just because a contrail is persistent, that it hangs around up in the upper atmosphere, that it is some kind of chemical spray being sprayed on you. First of all, let me just dispel that. Number one, that would be incredibly inefficient way to do it at like 30,000, 40,000 feet, something like that, because this stuff is going to drift hundreds or thousands of miles. If there's any kind of particulate up there that is even heavy enough to drop to the ground, then where's that going to come down? In the Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic Ocean, or something, that would be extremely ineffective. It's stupid to actually believe that anything that is sprayed at these altitudes where you're seeing these long persistent contrails, that's actually going to come down anywhere near you. That's not a thing. It's gonna circle the globe before it comes down on you with the jet streams and stuff like that. It carries it away rather quickly. And yes, these things do spread out, and sometimes they grow. Sometimes they'll dissipate. It depends on the weather conditions at altitude. Sometimes they will grow, seem to grow, like it's some kind of cloud seeding or whatever. But this also is what happens with clouds. When you pass a hot engine exhaust through upper atmosphere, where you've got water vapor, water crystals, and it water crystals, and it vaporizes those, and then condenses into form a cloud. Well, you're probably going to have also, you are going to have exhaust combustion waste product, particulate matter, that's going to provide some kind of nuclei for these water molecules to latch onto. So therefore, it's only common sense that your cloud is probably going to grow. if there's some kind of nuclei for, I mean, that is how cloud, cloud seeding and rainmaking and stuff like that, uh, you know, works more or less. Then now they'll put a nuclei in an existing cloud, some kind of a substrate so that water vapor attaches to it. But pretty much this is the mechanism. So it's just because a condensation vapor trail grows, this does not mean that it's some kind of chemical being sprayed on you. If it doesn't dissipate immediately, the that's an atmospheric, mechanism. It depends on the weather conditions up there at that altitude, whether it's going to dissipate and how long that takes, or whether maybe it turns into some kind of cloud that grows. So there's nothing really new. Now, I'm not saying that nobody. There are documented cases where, yes, government have conducted tests without people's knowledge over, like St. Louis, for example. Back in the day, they have done this, where they have conducted military test, and I did find contracts back in the 90s that, like, NOAA had with people to test certain things. And there's always all kinds of excuses given for that. It's atmospheric research and stuff, but just to think that anytime you're seeing this phenomenon with, airliners flying around, that doesn't mean it's some kind of a government operation that you're spraying. They're spraying you with something. That's just ridiculous. That's not the case. This is something that happens. Like I said, if you go back, get on your Google machine and do image search and look at all the various photos of the B-17 bombing runs over Germany, and look at how numerous and how persistent those contrails are coming off of those B-17 bombers. And I'm quite sure we weren't chemtrailing the Nazis. So yeah, check it out.